Hello again. We finally got a new mic attached down there. That should solve some of those horrible audio issues we had with the computer. Today, I'm going over deliverability, and I'll start with like before sending emails, because a lot of times you'll hear people talk deliverability. They'll hammer it home when working with like an email agency or just looking at cold email in general. So it's important to know what they mean when they're talking about deliverability. A lot of that comes down to these three key things: SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. And what those are basically is just records that you want tied to your email. So the SPF is Sender Policy Framework, and that specifies which servers are allowed to send emails on your domain's behalf. So it's important to have. DKIM is just the domain key identified mail that's used to ensure that an email was sent and authorized by your domain. And DMARC is domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance. So indicates that messages are protected by the previous two. So that's a lot of like random jargon. And for the most part, you don't really need to know that jargon. You just need to know that when you're setting up emails and domains, you got to have these three records before you start sending. Otherwise, you're not going to deliver. You're going to just go to spam. And when you are sending emails, the four things you want to look for is you want to use tools like Spam Checker by Mail Meteor, not sponsored or anything, but I just want to show them off in a second. You also want to optimize your first line of emails. That's going to help people actually want to open it, because if they're reading the email and there's just something random, because right, like when you get an email, you see that first, the header, and then you see the first line. So you want to make sure that's optimized. You don't want to overpromise in emails, because that will get marked as spam, even if you're not using like spammy words. And this is a big one. Whoops. This was a big one, include an unsubscribe button. But recently, you can tell this video is a little old, like a week or two. Recently, there's been talks in the community that you don't actually need an unsubscribe button. What you want to do instead is remove that, because that's a link, and having any kind of link in your email hurts deliverability. So instead, people have been testing, and I'm testing as well, just using like a phrase, something of opting out, like reply no to opt out or whatever. But instead of having that be a link, it's just a phrase that still complies as far as everyone has been made aware. But yeah, so maybe try testing not using an unsubscribe button. But if you are, just comment if it's still working for you. So Mail Meteor is this cool free website. Drag that down there. This is the free tool, Spam Checker. You can copy paste your emails into here. That's what I do. This is just the random one. When you open the page, that's what's there. So it's going to give you things like urgency. So if you look down here at the bottom of the email, they say ASAP, that's urgent, bad. Shady, there's four things: financial, privately owned funds, please. So if you're using words, a lot of things money related get flagged. So like free, no cost, like that, privately owned funds. Overpromise, like we said before, don't overpromise. And what does it say right here? There's two overpromises. They guarantee 5%. That can be seen as bad and spammy. So this is poor. And dear friend, it's kind of unnatural. Instead, you could say something like, hey, Steve. Right? This would be personalized. I am a financial consultant in control of privately owned funds placed for long-term investments. You could probably put, I wonder if you do like just funds. Obviously, this isn't a good email, right? I'm a financial consultant in control of funds placed for long investment. That's not good. But you get the gist. Don't want to guarantee anything. Please answer ASAP. Respond. Why no? Interested. The simple fixes like that already make it a lot better. Okay. But yeah, that's that tool. And then if you're looking to set up your SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, I recommend using a website with tools like easydmark.com. They have a lot of products you can get, which is cool. But the tools you're looking for, it's under this tab, is DMARC. You can check records, and you can also go to the record generator. It's really easy to use when it loads. So you just come down here, you enter the domain you want, and then you'd enter where you want the reports to send. And then you generate, obviously you need something here to say that generate. It's going to think. Here it's going to give you the DMARC record, the type, it's text, the value, stuff like that. It's going to give you some warnings. The other tools, they got the SPF lookup, record generator, same with DKIM. Can generate just like the DMARC. It's just going to be slightly different. It's a lot less here. It's more just the domain. You can just put S1. It doesn't need to really be anything else. And then you just copy that. Yeah, so that's the basics of deliverability for email. So when you hear someone mention it again, like they're talking about, I got to have good deliverability, or you got to make sure your records are set up. The records they're talking about are these three: SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. And there's lots of different tricks that probably need another video in themselves for how to optimize your emails for deliverability. But just like simple things like we showed on Mail Meteor, don't overpromise, don't sound spammy, use that tool. Again, Mail Meteor, use that tool to check your work. Yeah, that's all we got for today. Thanks for watching.